What's going on, guys? Today on Tales from the Lone Salesman, we'll be talking with Redbush83 on his experience with NFTs and my thoughts on the whole thing. I really wanted to cover this by myself, but my friend was just getting into it, so I brought him on the show. Here's a short introduction he brought for us today. Let's give it a listen.
Hello everyone, I'm Redbush. Just to give you a little background about myself, started streaming about 3 months ago. In January, I hit enough followers to go ahead and join the Level Up program on Facebook. At that same time, I also got involved with NFTs, and I gotta tell you, I'm hooked. But today, we're gonna talk with the Lone Salesman. He's got some questions to ask, and maybe I can answer some of them, but to be honest, I just started. So if you are interested in NFTs or crypto or anything, go out and do your own research. Thanks.
I was going to talk about this myself. I realized that I don't know. Well, I know enough. So like I'm into crypto, right? I'm like not like 100% always like in the market, but I follow it and I do my research. I play around. I've done some mining. I've done some trading here and there, but the whole concept of NFTs, when that came up, because people, when people were talking about crypto, there's so many naysayers saying, "Oh, this is like a big scam. This isn't real money. This isn't worth anything." But then you see people, the price of Bitcoin shoot up to over like $60,000 for one. Like first it like shot up to 10 grand, then 60, and it keeps going. And then with that, there's new coins out there running off Ethereum, everything. And then we have the whole NFT idea, the non-fungible token, which is like, okay, so let's use this crypto, let's use the ciphers and hashes to create something to where if you have a piece of digital art and you attach this token to it, it's like, it's that's what it is, right? So it's kind of like in the military, let's just use that example. We have our military IDs, and within those digital certificates we use to say, hey, chief, whatever. And when you sign an email, it says, hey, this is who I am. The only person who can tell me, there's no other way, like someone can impersonate this certificate. This is me. You have to have my password PIN, and you have to have the card. NFT is somewhat similar, right? So you have a whole backend system, the ciphers, everything with Ethereum running against this picture, this image, and it's saying, hey, this is owned by Redbush, no one else. Now you can take a picture of it, you can screenshot it, but you'll never truly own it.
You actually want people to screenshot it and post it in other places, because
Really?
if they see it and they like it,
They'll want to buy it.
Now they might want to buy it.
Interesting.
Right? And so the whole thing behind it, and I just was listening to a podcast last night about it, and I was like, man, I don't want anybody to use my art. And they were breaking it down. They're like, anytime somebody takes a picture of your NFT and posts it anywhere else, that's basically free advertisement. You own it. So if they want it, they have to come and buy it.
That's an interesting thing, because I think of it like this too. Like when you're talking about like real art, well, not everything's art, but I'm talking about old school art, sculptures, paintings, whatever, physical items that are considered art. They all have to get authenticated, curated, and it's like you can make a forgery. You can copy the picture. You can like the Mona Lisa. You can take a picture of the Mona Lisa, but you'll never really own the Mona Lisa, right? You can get wall art.
Sure.
You can get duplicates. They do that, right? They sell wall art, motel art, whatever. It's like the Mona Lisa or a copy of it, but it'll never truly be that item. So the way I see NFTs is a similar thing. It's like, okay, well, like you said, someone can copy it, promote it, whatever. Someone might want to buy it. It's like, okay, here you go. Here's your NFT. So the problem,
there's two things
yeah,
on that one, if you don't mind
go
me
ahead, go ahead.
touching on that for a second. So the first thing is, right, talking about the blockchain. Okay,
Okay,
so once you purchase an NFT, it goes on to the blockchain,
right,
right? And the beautiful thing about the blockchain is that what it does is when you make that transaction, it saves over everything that has ever been done on that blockchain,
right,
right? So anything that happened before it cannot be changed. So it's
yep,
permanent, right? And so when you make that purchase and you put that transaction on the blockchain, and you're right, you do have to purchase it with some type of crypto. I deal with Ethereum mostly, but
mm-hmm.
it's kind of a security, because now you have that transaction that can never be changed, and it's, if you don't sell it, it's going to permanently be attached to you.
Right,
So somebody could take a picture of it, create another NFT, and then put it out there and say, hey, this is the original. And everybody knows that it's not, because you can go to mine, you can see if it's moved since I purchased it, and you can see the creator, which most of the big ones, right, they get validated on OpenSea, which that's the platform that I use to purchase
interesting.
NFTs.
Okay,
And so that way they have that permanent record that can never be changed, and that's yours unless you decide to sell
okay. Yeah, so I think it's a good system. I mean, for the most part, the idea of it is basically, look, we can make a digital market of art, trade it as much as you want, and it's all there. So the infrastructure is there. Now, we kind of went over the basics and everything, but what do you think the pro, like you explained some of the pros, but what do you think some of the cons could be? Like, what do you think there's some drawback? Do you see any drawbacks with like the whole system and how it is at the moment?
it. So this is growing so fast, and to say I got in it at the beginning, it is slightly true, right? I
Okay.
would say at the beginning of its max popularity, and that's where it's going to. But right now, right, it's it's still kind of new, right? I mean, I heard about it last year, and I got to say personally, I was like, yeah, that's dumb, right? I just
Yeah,
didn't like it.
sure.
And so, and I'm not promoting anybody to go out and start buying NFTs. By the way, do your research. But there's a lot of people out there. Be careful, that are trying to scam you, right?
Right,
And that's
right.
anything that you do, anything that you put money into, or any way some con artist can figure out how to take your money and leave you high and dry, right? That's going to be anywhere.
Right.
So I'm not saying it's not out there. It's 100% out there. And even in some of my Discord chats, people have talked about it happening to them, where they clicked on
Mm,
a link or they looked at a DM, right? And the DM led them to their wallet, which drained it all. And then that trace was
wow.
never found again, and they can't
Yeah.
do anything about it. So,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Because that's the thing about the wallets, right? So interesting thing about that is like if someone steals your stuff and they transfer it to theirs, there's no way you can get it back. There's no authority that can say, "Hey, someone stole my shit, someone stole my crypto, someone stole my whatever." There's no authority over that. Unlike,
I mean, that's the best you'll get. Like,
yeah,
track them down, and
here's
that person's already
I
gone.
mean, you can get their wallet ID, but you'll
Yeah.
never figure out who actually owns it.
Absolutely. I
Eh,
mean, most people, they don't actually put like a name. It's the standard number that comes
Yeah.
with the wallet. And so you don't know anything about them. And to create a wallet, you have to put in zero information. I mean,
No.
I literally made my brother a wallet today because I was talking to him,
Oh yeah.
and he's like, what do I need to give you? I said, well, that's the beautiful thing about it. I don't need anything. You
Yeah.
know, I can create all this. And he's like, yeah, but they're going to know my credit card information.
Nope.
I said, no, I'm going to buy it and I'm going to send you the money. We're going to pay a little gas fee because, you got
Mm-hmm.
to pay somebody to transfer money, and
Yeah.
then you'll have it. And he was just blown away by that. I said, yeah, I mean, that's like the
It's
background of crypto,
yeah,
is
yeah.
the black, or not the black, the dark web. I was gonna say the
Mm-hmm.
black market, but that's not right. But the dark
Well,
web.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, you have all these servers running ciphers and simultaneously just producing the money and keeping it set like this. The system is set up. It's no different than the banking system that we have in place. The whole point of crypto was to create something where anyone can use it. No banks were in control of it. It's the people who controls it. Now, with that, you do have bad people doing stuff like you mentioned. I was reading the article I sent earlier about how a few incidents were kind of like how you mentioned, not only just link dropping, but people just straight up like rug pulling. They'll announce like a big project, and then they'll be like, "Okay, we're gonna get all this money," and then eventually we're gonna say, "Oh, it's gonna launch," and then it's like it never launches, and then they just go away.
It does. Sometimes it does, right? But they do something even worse. So it launches, right? And they give everybody that's interested a chance to mint their NFT, which is basically like you're getting in early.
Okay.
Right? You're buying a stock before it goes public.
Interesting.
And so when you do that, that's kind of a good way for the NFT, whoever's the creators behind it, to create a little capital, so they can turn around and maybe pump it up by giving, giveaways and doing stuff like that. But if there's somebody that's not trustworthy that's involved, and I saw it on Twitter, which is a huge platform for NFTs, they straight up said like, "Thanks for your money, I'm out. Deleted everything, gone." Right? He probably made $4 or $5 million.
I've seen people.
Left everybody high and dry, and then they can pull back those NFTs.
Oh wow! So they can just take the NFTs as well if they bring down that pool. Is that
so? The ones that haven't been minted, right? Those are usually the ones that go to public sale. And if they haven't gone to public sale, they can say nobody else is going to mint these. I'm going to pull them back. So everybody that already bought them doesn't have the normal amount of NFTs that are with that grouping, and they're basically left high and dry.
Wow.
And it's sad. So that's a good point of a con, right? Do your research.
Yeah.
Don't go into one of these projects thinking, oh, everybody's talking about it. Go into their Discords, go onto their websites, right? The website, a good one, it's going to show you a bunch of information about the creators, about the artists, about the team that's behind it. It's going to give you information about what's their plan, right? The roadmap, and it's going to have a lot of like details about what they're going to do at different stages. They're going to talk about when the minting date is, right? If a project starts up and they're minting like a week later, for me, that's like a red flag. Like, why are you trying to push this out too fast?
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense. All you're trying to do is get people to mint. They can make money and they can just dip out.
Right.
So it's just, you gotta be real careful. I mean, it's just like anything else. There's people out there that are trying to take your money because they know not a lot of people are educated about it. They don't have the information, so they will just blindly go in there, and it sucks. It really kills the NFT community because now that's usually about 10,000 plus people in a Discord server, and that's a small one, by the way.
Really,
right? I have some that have 130,000 people in it, and so usually there's only about 10,000 whitelist spots. Right. So whitelist allows you to mint before public sale.
Okay.
And so, you have 10,000 spots for whitelist. Once it's filled up, that's it. And if they have 10,000 NFTs, everybody gets to mint one. Now, some people will say, okay, we'll do 5,000 for the whitelist and everybody can mint two. Or, hey, we'll do 2,500 for the whitelist and everybody can mint four. Some projects have more than 10,000. I've seen some with less than 10,000, but that's like the number usually is right around 10,000. And so it's just, you have to go into these Discords and talk to the people. You can immediately, like at first, I wasn't talking in the Discord.
Okay.
I would just go there and I would watch it. And I would just kind of see how they are. And then every now and then I'd be like, hey, how's it going? New here.
Yeah.
Just trying to see what the project is about, and good people started answering, talking about it. And the bad ones, you'll see, man. They're like, hey, get the fuck out of here, noob.
Wow.
Like, oh, man.
Wow.
Like,
wow.
that's not really the way I
Yeah.
wanted to start my Discord with you, you know?
Yeah.
And
Like,
so
all
I
right.
joined about 40 Discords in a week. The
Jeez.
first week I got into it, and I dropped about 27 of them, like right off the rip. And
Damn.
then there's some that are just like, you're never going to get whitelisted, right? The requirements to get it are so high. Like you have to be level 30, in the Discord chat.
Wow.
You basically just have to sit there and just have conversations with yourself like over and over again and just, rise up, rise up. But some of them are cool. Like some of them are just
Hmm.
like, hey, invite 20 people to the Discord and we'll
Okay.
give you a whitelist spot. And so you invite 20 of your friends, right? Now they see that because they can track it and they go, cool, you did it. Here you go. They put you on the list and now you're on the whitelist and you don't have to buy once you're on the whitelist. It's
Okay.
just good at the beginning of a project that you think has a lot of potential to get on that whitelist and sit and wait and look at the information that's given.
That's interesting. So it seems like there's like a whole, well, at least with the NFTs, it's like it's very different than what I expected, as far as, because with crypto, to me it's very simple. If someone makes a coin, you can choose to mine it, buy it, if it's on the, depending which place you're buying it from, Binance, Coin, whatever. Damn. So yeah, I was kind of like looking into it a little bit and how people have infrastructure. They set up their own infrastructures in itself. Like, okay, we have this pool, and if you buy within the pool, then you get it. It's like a whole system, like three steps. Kind of like before I get into what you mentioned earlier with the rug radio, we'll go a little into that because you shared some information on that.
The DAO is an important one
Yeah.
to understand. And that's kind of a segue into Rug Radio. But if you think about it in and of itself, NFTs are a DAO, right?
Right.
So,
Well, explain what that is for people who might not know.
yeah, so it's a decentralized autonomous organization. So
Right.
basically,
Okay.
the people that are doing anything are the ones that are benefiting from it.
Right.
It's not a organization that is doing all of this and then taking all the rewards. The people that are using it are the ones that get the rewards.
Interesting. Yeah, because I
It's a simple way to say it. But
yeah. That's no. I think it's a good way of saying it, because when I think of stuff like that, I think of like Kickstarters. I think of private investing, the stock market. Who are you trusting your money to? Like, there's nothing different. Like, I've seen Kickstarter games, like projects, whatever. People are like, yeah, we're making this new project. It's crowdfunded. If you do this, there's benefits depending how much money you pay into it. Companies, it's like, look, we got our board of directors. Usually it's people who have the most stakes in the company. And then you have the shareholders. And then, okay, and the company, its job is to make money, profits, right? They get paid last. Their investors get paid first. And then everything else that's profits is to them. And then if they're losing, making as much money, then people aren't going to put their money in. They're like, all right, we're getting out of here. Like, this isn't doing well. So, but all of that has been set up over years. I mean, the stock market's been around for years. People were getting fed up with the system. It's like, okay, like Occupy Wall Street, that happened, what, 10 years ago. And you had people who were just like, okay, there's only like 1% of the world who has like majority of the money in the economy. So it's like, what, fuck this, fuck this shit, man. So
yeah.
when you have these systems set up, it's like the same thing could happen where only certain individuals have the most power, depending on how much you put into it. But at the same time, it gives people a chance to kind of do their own thing. And it kind of all falls in line with how you want to invest and either be an entrepreneur, be just investing, like, hey, this is just for savings, this is for fun. I could see it being high risk, high reward in some cases, like when you mentioned you these really shady discords. I think that's really important, doing research. You mentioned that, and that goes in line with any investing. Like, you look at real estate too, and you're like, okay, I got to figure out the new area I'm trying to look at and the house. There's so many factors that go into it, right? And same thing could be said about the whole NFT thing. It's like, and with real estate, in some states, some countries, you have to have a license. You got to have this. You got to have this. It's like before you can do it, you got to get it through these guys, or they take a cut. Same thing when you're buying stocks. You got to pay a fee. You got to pay something because you're brokering it through that brokerage, or maybe you're paying someone to invest it for you. Like you get all these IRAs and all that. That's like the safest way of doing compound interest, because it's like they're preventing you from doing anything with it for like till you're like 65. And then on top of that, it's like, well, we're going to be using that money in the background, but you're guaranteed to get it back.
Your money.
Yeah.
Right.
So, right. And so
I would call that centralized.
It is right? Definitely centralized. It's like,
and so this is the opportunity to kind of break away from that.
Yeah, because right? It's all individuals, right? So it's all individual grown, and like you said, as long as you trust them, it's like, all right, sure, like try it.
Yeah, I mean, there's teams behind each one of these projects, and each one of them, usually has an artist. And then you have, the management team, you have like a hype man, right? You have the legal side. I mean, there is a lot that goes behind a good project. And you can see that, right? You can see that in their roadmap on their website. You can see how the art is, because they'll usually do teasers, right? They'll throw out like one or two pieces just to kind of like, whoa, all right, this is what it's about. And then as it gets closer to that mint date, the people that are whitelisted and the people that are in the Discords, they get more information about it, builds it up. I think the most important thing in these projects is to have one or two people that are just like huge in the NFT world, right? Somebody that is going to put that information out there, and they've got lots of followers. They're going to keep the hype going. They're going to come in the Discord. They're going to talk. They're going to communicate with people, take time to listen, answer questions. That's the ones that you want to follow, right? That's the ones that you want to say, okay, I'm willing to risk, because it's always going to be a risk. Right. But I'm willing to risk my ETH or my crypto to this person because I believe in what they're doing. And then the minute that you don't believe, you got to just get out. If you find a project and you don't like it, or if you don't like where it's going, or if just something doesn't feel right, you get that feeling, and it's, you just know, like I was close to a couple of different projects that I was probably going to mint. One that I did mint, and I'm still a little shaky on it. Yeah. And I just felt it in the Discord. I felt it. The way that the people that were leading it ever came in and talked, and I could see it. And it was just like, they are not worried about the people that are truly investing in what they're doing. Right. They're just getting it going to make sure that they have all of theirs minted right when it's time. And so I backed out of a few of them, and I just said, you know what, this doesn't feel right. Now, I did make one bad choice, one that I backed out of, and it skyrocketed. Wow. And so I was, hey, you know what? That's just, I should have looked a little bit more into it. And I went back and I saw the hype man, or the person that was kind of at the top. Yeah. And he had lots of followers, been in the NFT world for a long time. And it just reminded me, I got to do my research more, because maybe I would have seen that. And he was working like 3 different projects at the same time, and I was only in one of his Discords. And sometimes they do a collaboration, so they come together. Okay. And information's maybe shared on one of the Discords, and that's what I was missing out on. So I didn't see all that communication going on, and that's what kind of pushed me away. So it's just, you gotta do the research. Don't take what somebody says. Right. Don't listen to your buddy who's like, hey, this is going to go to the moon. Right. That's like the big phrase, right? People have been to the moon.
Yeah. It's a big meme.
Yeah. So honest. Like, I mean, not all the projects are going to go to the moon, and not all of them are going to go to the moon right away. Some of them take time to build these followers that really care about the art and care about the community. And then, you just have to wait it out. So, there's the paper hands, right?
Yeah, just sell it right away.
It's a funny
Yeah.
thing to even say, but the paper hands, right?
Oh
They
yeah, we're
buy in,
talking about them.
yeah, and then they turn around and they sell for like $100 or $200 profit, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, good for them, right? You keep doing that 1,000 times a year, you make $200 1,000 times in a year. Hey, that's good money. But the people that I've seen have taken it and they say, okay, this is the project that I'm going to be interested in and I'm going to stick with it. And then sure enough, 6 months later, you bought it for 0.1 ETH and it's going for 70.
Diamond hands, baby.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what?
Hands,
I'm holding on to my Dodge still, even after it kind of took a shit. I
yeah.
I mean, I invested when it was early.
Come back. You know what?
I invested when it was pretty early, so like I still have my profit, but I'm like, it's just like play money for me, really. It's just like it's like, to me it's fun to just, it's fun and something I can mine, make money myself. I don't have to like actually just spend money on it if I just get
Smart.
Exactly.
I'm not into mining, but the ones who do it,
it could be hard on your graphics card, and some graphics cards have limitations. That some of the new 3 series LHR, which is like the light hashing rate, so it'll, even if your graphics card could do more, it'll like still limit itself unless you
have to like send it to overload, right? Because you would basically be telling it like, hey, do more than what it's saying is the minimum requirement.
Yeah, and then you got to look at overhead, like, all right, how much electricity is this costing, and like, is this going to overheat my computer? Like, I was, I did a decent amount. It's just, you have to do it for a long time, because depending where you're doing it from, you have to mine a certain amount before you can pull out. And I think over like a few days, I got to like maybe a little more than like 30% of what the requirement was. It was like 150,000 Dodge, or it was like 150 million or something like that. And with the way Dodge is right now, it's not that hard. Same thing with Ethereum. You needed to mine at least 0.01 Ethereum before you could pull it out. And then that's just
a long time.
It does. And if I left my machine on for like a month, and there's, depending on like what bots you use and what programs, you can see like, all right, this is how much electricity I'm using. At the rate I'm doing it now, if I didn't turn it off, I would make this much Ethereum in a month. So there's calculations to kind of help you with that. And I guess that kind of interests me more, because it's something that I can do myself whenever I want. And that's the whole thing that kind of drew me back, from NFTs, because I'm like, okay, well, this has a lot of shit that goes into it. And I was watching, and I was just like, because I had my play in the stock market too, and man, it's like, it's the same deal. It's and I got tired of like just doing paperwork for it too. It's just like, well, I got to put some of my taxes, and then I gotta fucking
do it every year, man. I mean, I'm still in stocks,
yeah,
right? And I'm more of a mutual fund guy.
Exactly. Right? I'm doing investment trusts now. Yeah.
And I let the people that actually know what they're doing do it. And
sure.
You know what? I might have a bad quarter or two, but when I look at the overall for the year, I've been with one mutual fund for over 20 years.
Yeah.
And I've never had a negative year, even when the crash happened.
Really? Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things though, right? Like, there's risk in all of it. And if you do the research, then you can minimize the risk, but the risk will always be there.
Of course.
The big thing with like crypto and NFTs, right, is that NFTs are not really driven by a company. It's driven by popularity, right? Popularity is what drives it. And it can change like that. I mean, think about all those people that, 5 minutes of fame or whatever, and then they lose it, and then they're never talked about again, right? So the people that have like the big communities and they have these big followers, and the ones that are into NFTs, those are the ones that are successful because they keep having good projects and people want to keep following them. And that's audience.
Wait, so yeah, like you have people who are credible and they're actually making like decent art. I mean, that's my whole issue is I don't really like the whole I guess the actual one of the other things I have an issue with is the art itself. I've seen some nice ones that are actually real pictures, or like, because I have some fit photos that I wouldn't mind converting into NFTs that are, decent quality, but I see the thing that's making the most money is these like stupid animals or characters that are like randomized or whatever, and they must have some sort of program to like switch around the assets, I guess, or do something.
Yeah.
And I have an issue with the art itself. It's just, to me, it's like, would I like, if this was a physical piece of art, would I put this on my fucking wall and actually like look at it? And most of the time it's like, no, dude, I don't want to see this shit. It's stupid. But at the end of the day, it's not really what it's for anymore. It's just like making
Trust me,
money.
I've seen a lot that I'm like, ugh. Like, and I think that's two different ways, or two different types of investors, right? There's
Yeah,
people that go in there and that they're just there to use it, to flip it, and then to buy into bigger projects,
sure.
right? And then there's people there that are in love with the art. And as you've seen it develop, because I mean, this goes back and people might not even know. I think it was 2014, and don't quote me on that, but
Okay.
2014 is kind of the start of the NFTs. And I think 2016, it kind of went up a little bit more. This is like the start of it. So yeah, if you look at like the start, it's these little blocky characters, right? And they to me are not appealing, right? Now to some
Yeah,
of the other ones, the OG NFT collectors, that's appealing for them because that's
right.
kind of like what they grew up with, the
Yeah,
original stuff.
like there's some really good digital art out there. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate the pixel art and all that. I think they're cool, and I know people are really into them. I'm just more so talking about like the ape shit, like or just like I get an ad for one where it's just like some.
Those are number one,
I
man. Those will
know.
never go down, man.
I don't know what it
Yeah,
is.
Board Ape Club. I mean, that's gonna forever
The
be at the
fucking
top.
I saw
I
another
mean,
one where it's like these buff guys, and they're like I don't know. They look weird. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm just like, okay, it's an interesting
but see,
fact.
like the art
Yeah.
itself, right, is attached to the artist,
Yeah.
and so for them, right, they wanted to express something through it. Now, to make it successful, you can't just make one picture and then say, okay, we're gonna just run this one picture. So
Okay.
you're right. What they do is they take it and they modify it in some way, and it'll give it features, right?
Hmm.
And based on how many features it has, uh, that will determine rarity. So in a collection of 10,000, right, you might have some that are straight up one of ones. And
Okay.
there is no other one that's exactly like this. And you can usually tell because like there'll be something in the background
Yeah.
or it's multiple items. You can tell they're wearing like all sorts of different stuff,
Yeah. I mean,
and the ones that aren't that rare are just like the basic picture and maybe have like a plain shirt and like a regular background. And
mm,
so that really determines how much it goes for over the floor price. And the floor price of this project is basically like, hey, everybody that bought one of these, the person that's selling it at the very least amount, that's where we're going to start. And that's called the floor,
I
right?
see.
And so if you have a really rare one, you don't want to put it at the floor price because that has more value.
Yeah.
So you want to put it at a higher price. And then people see that and they're like, well, the floor is one ETH. This one's very rare. It's a one of one. It's selling for 10. I'm going to buy it. And then they get swept up so fast. I mean,
Is there like auctions for them as well? Like, do they hold like online auctions for these things?
I haven't personally been to an auction, but I have heard of communities that, like, let's say, um, they have some of them stashed to the side to wait to be released, but
Okay.
the some that they stashed to the side was actually like a one of one, or
Okay.
maybe like all of them didn't get minted and they don't want to put them into public mint. I've heard of them like raffling or auctioning them off.
It reminds me a lot of like kind of how like trading cards and like comic books work too, like how you mint those. And
There's trading card NFTs already. That's the
oh
crazy
man,
thing. Is
that's see,
that, the baseball cards, basketball
I want
cards,
to,
they're
yeah,
already starting to do it.
I kind of want to talk about that. So, what is your thoughts on like big companies getting into this? Like, for example, gaming companies, Ubisoft. There's even like a lot of companies, a lot of celebrities. They're trying to like ride this wave, or as they say, get with the times. I guess they're trying to like, oh, we're trying to revolutionize. We're trying to like give this to you guys. So, what is your thoughts of the integration of this stuff in games, media, already big stuff out there? Like here's my thing, right? So, if I'm playing like Warzone, for example, let's just say they added NFTs, but the NFTs were attached to the skins of the guns and the characters. Now, this isn't the first time this has been done before, because if you're familiar with Counter-Strike,
Yeah.
Counter-Strike was big for this. The skins, the weapon skins, everything, like, and there was a whole like controversy behind it because people were promoting these websites where it's like gambling. It's like, hey, it's the same shit, except it had no value really because it was for, I mean, some could argue, yes, it did, but it's just for that game. And there's nothing else really backing it besides that whole system. Now, like what's your thoughts on the whole idea of that, of companies getting into it?
Yeah. I think there is some bad and good. I mean, you gotta take all of this because it's so new to me and the way I think of it. Good for one is popularity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Making it more popular and making it more well known is only going to help the people that have been doing it for a long time and grinding it out.
Right.
Because maybe somebody comes online and they want to buy a baseball card or they want a favorite clip of their sporting event, but then they see something else that they like.
Uh-huh.
And then now it kind of leads into helping out other people that have projects and things like that. So in that aspect, I think it's good.
Right.
I also think it's good because these companies are going to be putting these products out there. And yes, they will make money off of the sales. But really, if the people get in early enough, the ones that are interested, right? The people that are interacting, they're the ones that are going to make the real money.
Right.
Because once that company, that big company sells it, now that becomes theirs and they get to do whatever they want with it. And if they
True.
want to hold on to it and wait for it to rise and, make 10x their profit, now they have done better than the company that started it.
That's true. That's an interesting perspective, because like I got Josh and my friend Super Slothman here in the chat. They're like he want, like, for Yu-Gi-Oh, for example, like it would be nice if he had like a Yu-Gi-Oh card and it's like super rare, and then at the same time he could use it digitally online in his game, or if it's physical too, that's cool. Apparently like Disney, Marvel, Under Armour getting some clothes out there that have some sort of NFTs attached to it. So like and then of course we could,
Yes,
yeah.
right. The shoes.
And and it's not like this whole system hasn't been done before. You're talking about RuneScape, different game apps, everything. There's always like an underground market for games or anything, like for example, like let's say COD, for example.
There's a difference, and I know you're going somewhere with
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
but there
yeah.
is a difference between us as consumers buying a skin and us as consumers buying an NFT,
Well,
right?
well, well, I'm not talking about like buying skins directly from the game. I'm talking about
Uh,
like I have an account on Apex that has all these skins. I
yeah,
can sell my account to you that has all these skins, give you the login info, and now you have all this shit. Same thing with like RuneScape. So RuneScape, there's no, like, you can hire someone to make X amount of gold for you or grind this quest, level up your character, boosting, all that. And boosting's another thing. Like boost my rank up, like Overwatch. That was it was like, hey, I'll pay you like $50 and get me to platinum, get me to this rank, or I want this badge, I want something. It's like it's a little different, but yeah, like so far the government, Josh made up a good point. It's like so far the government's like kind of like they're trying to tax crypto with NFT art sale. I mean, here's the thing about art, right? Here's something I'd be interested if the government was doing. So if you donate art to a museum, you get a tax break. That's how some like rich people get their fucking money off, because they'll be like, hey buddy, they'll find an artist, have their friend curate it, and it's like a win-win situation, because like the infamous example was that stupid painting, or it was just like a banana taped to a poster board, and then that sold for like thousands of dollars, and then it was donated to a museum, and guess what, all that is like money off your tax. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I wonder if like NFT will ever have like, if there'll ever be like some sort of similar thing with crypto, or I mean, you could probably donate crypto money to whatever, but with the NFT, it's like, will there be a museum? Will there be something in place to kind of hold this art?
You're seeing some of it actually already, and it's more attached to a crypto than the NFTs. But of course, if you cash out, and I like to think of it as gambling, right? It's only chips until you cash out. So your crypto is crypto, and the value of it to the dollar is going to go up and down. But until you cash it out, you're not going to get, actual USD. So, and until you get USD, right, that's when the government can say, hey, that is a profit. That is a gain.
Yeah.
And once you make that gain, now you need to pay us taxes on it. So just like anything that you invest in overseas or on the internet, or purchasing a house, a car, anything, if you make money off of it, the government's going to want their cut.
Well, what's your thoughts on that? Like, do you think they have the right to like do that, or do you think it's like something we should do anyway? If if it's truly supposed to be decentralized, why should taxes be involved?
The only part, because like doing the transactions and doing all that stuff, it's not tax. Like you don't see, like everybody pays a gas fee.
Yeah.
You don't say, oh, we're adding $7.50 of tax.
Exactly. I'm not more so talking about that. I'm talking about like, why should I have to report how much crypto I made at the, when I saw that,
you don't need to report it until you pull it out and turn that crypto into USD. And of course, the government is going to want their cut. I could just see him saying some shit.
Yeah.
What's the comments? I want to hear.
No. My buddy just made a joke. He's like, I'm making an NFT that attached to my cancer cells. I'm going to be 150,000 limited edition pics based off dogs I wish I had. Who's trying to buy and kickstart this bitch?
Hey, you know what? If you get a good following, anything will work.
I bet, man. I
mean, there's there was a great quote that I was listening to somebody who had been in NFTs from the beginning. And he said there's basically two kind of people that trade NFTs and are successful, right? And there's ones that are lucky, and then there's ones that do their research. And he said, but don't do it just because, you want to be lucky. Fall in love with the art, because that's going to be the value, is that, don't go out there and say, okay, this one's popular, right? Find a community and find something that you like. I mean, there's some beautiful pieces, photographers that are doing it. 3D images, right? There's characters. I mean, I'm in one right now that has an NFT that's attached to an online game. So you can take NFT and go into a game and play kind of like a Street Fighter Mortal Kombat 1v1. And we talk shit in the Discord about like, hey, bring it over here. Let's do it. Let's fight, right? Take your NFT. And they're still about to release the beta for it. So right now it's just a lot of shit talking, but it's just something cool. Like it's a good concept behind it. So like for me, I'm a gamer. I'm into NFTs. I like it. For me, if that one doesn't, if I never make a profit from that one, so be it. I enjoyed it, and that's the art part about it.
I would be interested. I'm more so interested in the utility of it than like you said, if it's attached to a game or I'm buying an asset. Like I think it's helpful for people who take advantage of like using it for their digital art or artists. Like they have a legit way to back their shit and be like, this is like an official piece or whatever. Something on DeviantArt, someone just takes it and copies it, and then you could easily say, "Oh, you didn't make this, I did." With the NFT backend structure, it's like, well, no, you didn't make it, and it's not yours.
This blockchain, right?
Yeah,
I put it on there, and I'm the one. Now they do have like verified accounts on OpenSea, which is where I do NFT trading. And so if they hit over a certain amount on a personal account, or if they hit a certain amount over an art a project, they will put like a little stamp and it says, verified. And it just means like, hey, this person's trustworthy. They've done a lot of transactions. They never did anything shady. And
it's like a reputation system.
Exactly.
Interesting. That's actually really cool. Like, like my buddies making jokes about like, if he had like an MMO and like had like sexy like skins or whatever. I mean, it would sell though, like.
Hey, so the quote me on this now, right?
Okay.
When the porn industry fully gets into it, they're going to take off farther than anybody else, right? But the thing is, right now, at least on OpenSea, there's only so much of it that you can see before they don't consider it art, right? They have their own regulations, and even some art has been pulled off OpenSea because they said, no, this is like too close to porn. But there's already ones out there that, have women and men covering those spots or just doing it at angles where it becomes art.
Yeah, I mean, it's whatever. I mean, art is its own expression. It doesn't, if there's nudity or any.
There's a popular one called Dick Butt. Right?
Oh, dude, Dick Butt, man, that's old school shit.
It's a character.
Yeah, Dick Butt goes. Yeah, Dick
and a dick sticking out the back.
Yeah. He's old, man.
It's a character, though. It's not a person, so they just consider it like a funny. But that one makes me laugh every time, man. I every time I see one of those, it just and you know what? That's
I would buy that.
Enjoyment out of it.
I would buy that one.
Yeah, if you're looking at it and it makes you laugh, and that's that old school art too. It's like a little blocky. But if it makes you laugh and you enjoy it, then that is, you're owning that piece of art. And it's going to lead into.
I'm curious. Did the actual maker of Dick Butt actually make it into an NFT, or did someone else just like do it? Because like Dick Butt,
I have no idea. I just stumbled across it and laughed.
Because that's one problem I know that's happened is where some artists have gotten like kind of like the whole rug pulling, going back to what we were talking about before. Some people just take art, upload it, take the money, and then go. And before the artist even knows it, it's like it's gone already. So
I mean that happens, and it sucks. I mean, there's going to be bad people out there doing bad things always.
Yeah, I mean it's unfortunate, like because the whole concept I would think would help try to prevent that, but I think it still happens with the whole rep system you were talking about. And doing all that, maybe,
these comments. I know you looked over there.
No, he's just talking shit. He's just saying, "Oh, I took your art and made it into NFT." Because that's the thing, right? So I like the art I have on here is like I commissioned someone to make it, and I paid for it.
Yeah,
and he's the artist. If someone took a picture of it and then said they made it, I don't know. I mean. Technically, it's got Lone Salesman on it. I don't know if anyone's gonna want that shit, but if someone wants to be the Lone Salesman, then sure. But it's
I was interested in like how do you make an NFT, right?
Yeah.
And so I was on OpenSea, and there's a little button that says create an NFT.
Okay.
I was like, no way, it's this easy, right? So I took my Redbush symbol and I uploaded it, and I paid like $30 in gas fees, and I created it.
Wow.
It took all of maybe a minute. And I was like, what? And then I could sell it. I could put a price on it. Like, I put 10,000 ETH. I was like, yeah, somebody please buy this.
Mm-hmm. Make different. You should do something. You should do. This is something you could do too. And I don't know if anyone will steal this idea, but you should do one with different knots.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Because think about
that one. I have my thing. I know
exactly.
You've seen it.
You take some pictures of it, or you just like do some cool. I don't know.
I'd have to work with a Bostimator on my end, so I don't know.
I don't know. You should still know your knots. You're a QM. You should.
No. We do flags, so there's only so many flags.
That's another one. Sell the flags, and then sell it to the Navy. Hey, yeah, if you want to
create words out of them,
Yeah, dude, and then be like, yeah, sell it to the U.S. government, and be like, fuck it, dude. That'd be so funny.
You sounds like you want to get me retired early,
dude. Hey, you know what? Here's the thing. Army and the whole U.S. government, they buy the white papers to like new technologies and stuff all the time. Patents, they do that shit all the time, man. Like, there's so much shit like that's someone's making something and then the government gets involved. Like, hey, we're interested in this, or some private companies involved. Shit. Maybe, dude. What if the Navy requires you to, like, when you rank up, you have to buy an NFT of your rank? It comes. You have to buy, like,
better get those NFT anchors and become a chief. All right, Ensign, go buy your butter bars.
Yeah, man, dude, fuck that. Like, that'd be so funny. Like, yeah, before you did you make your OpenSea account? Yeah, did you make your Sailor?
Yeah. Where's your wallet address?
Yeah,
send that to me.
I forgot. It's like someone's got like written on their fucking. They got it written on their forearm. They got it tattooed and everything. It's like, oh, it's 12568B647. Like, oh wait,
I can't copy and paste from your arm.
Yeah, right. like someone's like, dude, think about it. It could prevent stolen valor.
Yeah. Hey.
Because most
you did not get that award. I already verified.
Yeah,
but now we're moving into people having barcodes on their arm, and I don't like this.
You like, hey, wait a minute. You never got an NAM in your life. This right here. I checked.
I got 6. I promise.
Yeah, right. He's wearing the.
Yeah, you don't have the paper award. They just give you the NFT NAM.
Yeah, dude. They send it to your email, and then there you go.
No award ceremony or anything, right? No. I don't think the Navy will ever move in that direction.
No,
and if they do, it's years after we're gone.
Well,
with this.
we use crypto. It's part of the whole radio shit. I mean, that's literally was my job. We had the keys. I mean, it wasn't used for money. It was used to encrypt our channels. But
same concept, right?
Yeah, it's the same thing. They're all private, public keys, and it's how we communicate to other ships. It's like, okay, I just encrypted it with this month's key. And if you don't have this month's key and you don't have this crypto equipment, you can't hear what we're talking about on this channel.
I think that the interesting thing that I want to touch on is that what some of the crypto people are doing. I know you've heard about the stadium name change, right? And the Lakers stadium is no longer the Staples, right? They're called Crypto.com Arena, right? It's not the
right.
Staples. And that was just massive. But even more than that, I think, and who knows if it actually happens, I think that they're going to start doing the tickets with NFTs. To buy a ticket, you have to buy the NFT like a season pass, right?
Okay.
Here is my season pass NFT that I can show. It's unique, attached to me, and I get in. I think that's where they're going to move.
That'd be kind of cool. I mean, like, I would be into it too if like they put some cool design and they put like different players on the tickets or something. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, and a concerts, right? What better way to sell it? And then there's no way anybody could steal that ticket from you. You would have to sell it or you would have
Looked
to
like it had a
forget
QR
your
code or
wallet
something.
address or something. Yeah, exactly. So I think that's where it's going. I think Crow, right? Crypto.com. I think they're making huge moves. I bought some Crow myself. It's pretty low right now.
Mm-hmm.
And the things that they're doing, I mean, you look at the UFC arena, right? Very middle of it now says crypto.com.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, they're just making huge moves and like be doing it silently. They're not really
Yeah. No,
putting it
I
out.
mean, shit, they got the money, man. They're making all this money off those transactions. Josh made a good Super Sloth made a good comment, dude. Instead of challenge coins, make NFTs of the challenge coins.
Dude, I tell them I already
Dude, you
thought
need
about
to do that shit. Go, dude.
it. I know,
Listen, bro.
I
You're the
know.
chief because they'll listen to you, bro. They'll be like, "Yo, that's fuck the NFT, bro."
Yeah.
They'll be like,
Yeah.
"So, like, you know."
I actually have a couple ideas for projects
Exactly.
that I
Be
want
like,
to
be
do,
like,
but I want to learn more.
exactly, Master Chief. Just don't worry about it, man. It's good for the, you know. And then, but yeah, no. Anyway, my whole other
Raise
concern,
money for the mess, though. I mean,
yeah,
we do that. That's the whole purpose of our real challenge coins is
bro,
that,
yeah, you're making
and not
money,
this is something that I thought about is don't just make it an NFT,
right?
right? Make it an actual physical coin
Sure.
and make it actual NFT. So when you purchase the NFT, the physical coin is sent to you.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, you have both. I mean,
And yeah. And then once it's past a certain amount of time, right? Um, because if they trade it or they sell it, the next person's gonna be like, well, where's my coin?
yeah.
No, after that one has been used or getting the physical coin, you can't get another one. So, I'd actually thought about that, which, who knows? Who knows if that would take off? I mean, there's lots of great ideas. There's lots of innovators. There's lots of people getting into this right now that are doing things that are different than everybody else. And
Mm.
it's just a matter of time before they have the right amount of following and the right amount of people that like or enjoy that. And then you'll see them skyrocket, to the fucking moon.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that's cool. To the moon.
To the moon. Funniest.
There are some concerns about the environment because here's the thing: servers run hot. They run super hot, and the only way to cool them down is with air conditioning units. And it's like
Water, right?
water, what? No, like more electricity. What's that electricity being fueled by? Fossil fuels, maybe solar power. But the whole concern of Ethereum, crypto, is what it's doing to the environment and will it add to global warming? If now on top of everything else that's going on, I don't think at the moment it's gonna like unless like every single person in the world starts getting involved and it becomes like a critical part of infrastructure. Like let's say it's becoming so mainstream that like every store, everything you do is related to this system. You could argue that already with all the banks, the currency, everything, that's already there for that. It's like there's plenty of other resources being used. So I mean, I don't think it's gonna be like that catastrophic in the beginning, but over time, I guess, if it keeps growing, it could become like more significant.
Yeah, so I think a lot of it, right? If you think about it, and I watched a great video. I've been watching, I've been listening, I've been reading, but this guy was talking about, okay, we're moving to the virtual world, right? We're moving eventually to the metaverse, right? Everybody knows about
Yeah,
Facebook and
let's talk about that a little bit because you were talking to me
yeah.
about how NFTs and everything might integrate into that.
Yeah, not just might. I mean, this is actually going to happen, and it's not going to be just a picture on the wall. They're going to integrate clothing. They've already talked about certain things and allowing users to not just purchase clothes, but create them and then make a brand and turn around and sell them. So it's not going to be just them making a profit from it. You'll have an opportunity to go in there and do that yourself. But as things start to evolve and people are not going to have a need to like, I don't want to say a need, but they're not going to want to go outside, right? They've created this virtual fantasy or this virtual world where they can go in there. Now, something that they used to go out and buy, which used a lot of fossil fuels to create, I think could balance. So it's kind of like answering both your questions. The
Yeah.
previous, this one, it could balance it out. I'm not going to say it's going to make enough difference to like really kind of make up for it, but
Yeah. I
there
mean,
is some benefits, and then there's some bad things. Now these people think that they live in this fake reality, and they're kind of shut off from real human interactions. But I actually love what the Facebook is doing and the metaverse. I'm gonna be. I actually went out and bought an Oculus 2.
okay.
When they started talking about it, because I was like, well, let me get in there and see what it's about.
Yeah.
And it was fucking fun, man. I'm a gamer, so of course I enjoyed that aspect. But just being in my little fake house or virtual reality house, I could go and sit on the couch, put on Netflix, and sit there and watch Netflix. And
That's it.
my
Yeah.
kids are screaming in the back, and they're doing their thing, and I'm sitting there and I'm just watching Netflix, and it's kind
Yeah.
of cool. I
Hmm.
like that whole concept of it, and you can move the screen wherever you want. You can make it as big as you want or small as you want. You can receive messages at the same time. You can check things.
Wow.
It's like it was pretty cool. So I really like Oculus. I like what they're doing with the metaverse. It's gonna be huge.
Because I know there's some game. Because someone, one of our super slow was saying that someone like paid $450,000 to be Snoop Dogg's neighbor in the metaverse.
Yeah, you know what? I'm sad to admit this, but last night I went online and I looked for land in the metaverse,
Oh
right?
man.
And I was like, they won't even put a price. You basically have to bid on it, and if they like
Uh
the bid, then they'll contact you. And so, like, I found this plot of land, and I'm like, yeah, sure, that'll do, right? And I didn't put a bidding price because I was just like, please contact me. I would just like to know, like,
yeah.
what this is going for. But yeah, people that are buying like land in the metaverse right now, which is just crazy to me. But of course, I had to look it up. I think it's it's a piece of virtual property. I mean, the metaverse is going to be so huge. It's not like you're just going to sit there and hang out on a tiny little piece of land and not go out. Like I want to go into the metaverse to shoot through,
Yeah.
the universe.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
going to be
Yeah.
huge. There's
That's
going
what
to
I'm
be people
saying. What
creating
is the
stuff and using
limitations?
it.
Yeah. How big is it going to be? So
I mean,
I
it's
don't know.
it's it's
Because
the
there's
size of the universe, right?
right.
It's
So
is
so
there really, or is it continuously growing?
well, here's the way I
So
see it, right? So let's say like so in VR chat, you can kind of already like interact with people, make your own avatar. It's more free base, and with this metaverse, and let's just say like there's other companies who are making their own virtual like multiplayer game or online experience. Will it be to the point where everything's just like because we've got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram? Is it going to be the same thing where like Twitter's going to be like kind of competing, or a different companies might be competing to create their own world, or is it going to be with like Facebook? Like, let's talk about a little bit about China, for example, because Facebook is not allowed in China. A lot of companies don't like Facebook. They've done some shady shit. They've been in trouble with the FTC, and some people don't like the way how aggressive they are with data collection. It's something that people agree to, and willingly and unknowingly they just do it. That's my thing. Is like, okay, well, if we create this
making
world,
money off of
yeah,
my personal
the long
information.
because here's the thing, they're gonna make it to where they want you to stay in there. It's the same thing with Facebook. If they make it to where they optimize it so you are on there as long as possible. Same thing with some games, some mobile games. It's the same tactics. It's like we have to make this experience to get you on here as long as possible and to get you keep playing. And this is how it works. Now with the metaverse, it's like, okay, how can we make this to where we want people to be here more? And it's interesting that it's coming to surface now during the whole pandemic, because now people are thinking like, okay, well, this would be great because I can just meet up this guy and go hang out, and yeah, without getting fucking COVID. So
I'll just stay in my house for years at a time. Yeah, that's scary, right? It's not something that you really want to see in a growing society. But if you haven't watched it already, which I'm sure you have, because I know you've done a lot of research on this, but if you haven't watched the 11-minute video that Mark Zuckerberg put out about the metaverse,
Of course, man.
Please,
the
like
sweet,
anybody that hasn't, like,
sweet baby Ray
go
sauce. That was my favorite thing in the whole video.
Yeah.
I love that video where he's like smoking the meats. Yep, man, we're just smoking the meats with the sweet baby Rays. And he looks like he's on fucking cocaine or something. His eyes are so fucking dilated. Dude, I don't know. There's something wrong with that dude. I just rewatched the Social Network because I was like, I really like that movie, and it's interesting to see how like long ago that was when he first started and where it's at now. My whole thing is like, and Super Slothman just mentioned something. Yeah, the whole competition aspect of it. It's like, do you have to own an Oculus to get on the metaverse, or will it be like if I have a different headset, or like, is there going to be competition? Because that's the thing. It's like, is it going to be the point where Facebook tries to squash anyone else who tries to make their own virtual world, where it's like, no, we own we're the only ones who could do this? Like, is there going to be a monopoly? Is it going to be to where you have to have an Oculus, you have to have this to get in? Is there going to be that exclusivity you see with NFTs and other communities like you mentioned?
If you go and look and see the price, right, of the Oculus,
it's probably cheap, right?
It is, and they did that on purpose.
Yeah.
Right? Is that they basically want to get they want to put one of these in every single person's hand. Right? If you're selling for lower than what the new and I bought one, it was $399, but there is a new VR headset, right? That's supposed to be more comfortable, right? So you can wear it longer, go figure. And it's going to have different things. So when you're in the metaverse and you have a facial reaction, it's going to see it and then allow people to see that facial reaction. Right. So it's like,
interesting.
They're going to have some crazy stuff. And then they even talked about one day having, and it's in that 11-minute video, glasses. You put on glasses and you're at work.
Right. I know Google's also been kind of like trying to do that as well. Google Glass has been in.
I don't think whatever headset you use or whatever VR system you use, their main thing is to get people on there.
Yeah.
So if they did it only exclusively for the Oculus or anything that Meta puts out, it would kind of prevent them from maybe getting other people that have different VR type headsets to get in and interact, because the interactions is where they're going to make the most. They want you to go out there and look at the programs, look at the things that are being built, be a consumer and buy clothes and do all these things and create these social networks. And they want that, because if they limited it and somebody was like, oh, I have an old Oculus or I have an old VR headset, I think that if they limit it, they're going to miss out on opportunities, and that's not what they're trying to do. They're trying to get as many people as they can into that VR world.
Have you ever watched Altered Carbon?
Oh yeah, I love it.
Yeah, that's what kind of
serious.
What I'm thinking of, do you remember in the beginning when he's got that chip in his head and like all the ads are getting sent to his
in the back of his neck, right?
Yeah, and then like ads are like shooting to his brain and they won't stop, and then she has to like, oh, you got to get this blocker. I wonder how aggressive it'll be if you're actually playing that shit. You'll be walking around and then someone walks up and, hey man, you should do Uber Eats. You must be getting hungry. Why don't you go get yourself some McDonald's? Why don't you go? Or Colonel Sanders.
You ever seen Wreck-It Ralph or Ralph Rex the Internet?
Yeah.
Hey, you want to get rich playing video games? Yeah, that guy that comes over, he's like, hey, you want to get rich playing video games?
Exactly.
Come here.
You'll see Colonel Sanders like walk up, be like, I'm freaking looking good. They could do anything. Think about it. Ads could be even more creative or it could just be subliminal too. Like maybe they're putting pictures of food on. Like, here's something they could do, right? Like, let's say there's posters and billboards in the metaverse, but they're attuned to individuals. So not everyone sees the same ones. So maybe when you're looking around, I might see something for like IT computer shit, and then you might see something for like golfing, for example. Like you're seeing golfing ads, and I'm seeing like something for cycling. And
Here's even something scarier,
okay.
right? Is that what if the people that you're talking to aren't saying what they're actually saying?
Yeah.
What if Facebook, to make it so that it aligns with Facebook values, right?
Yeah.
Or Meta values, right? Because that's the company's name now. It's no longer Facebook, it's Meta,
Yeah.
right? What if if you say something that doesn't align with what they think is right, they change what you say. So you're saying it, but everybody else hears it differently.
Oh yeah,
That's
it's
scary.
censorship, because Facebook's already kind of been known to censor stuff, but usually it's like really like outlandish stuff. So I mean, I guess some moderation would be good, especially if you have like kids and other, I don't know. I mean, what's going to be the
You
demographic
play
of
video
this?
games, you know
Yeah.
all the toxic kids that are out there and all
Exactly.
the shit that they say, like, you're
Yeah,
not
yeah.
gonna be able to filter that. The only
No.
thing is, just like they do bans, right? When they ban somebody's account for, like, saying, like,
Mhm.
something that doesn't align with Facebook values, right? You're gonna be out there, and there's gonna be these toxic people, and then all of a sudden, their avatar is just gonna disappear. Boing.
Yeah. Do you think they do so do you think they would do something like hardware bans, like they would like ban the headset as well? Cuz think if someone could just
Oh,
make a
no,
new
I don't know.
account,
Yeah, that's a great question,
cuz
because if you ban the headset, that headset is now useless for
or
anybody else who always puts it
or
on.
maybe like they ban that like the MAC address, right, from connecting, and then cuz that's just how they do
The
everything.
IP address, right?
Yeah.
Where they're receiving the internet from, so
Well,
it's like,
you could refresh your IP and spoof it, but like the MAC address is the physical address that I would assume. I'm not sure. Like maybe they could ban like the computer you're connected to or like the network you're on. There's different ways they could do it, but I'm just saying like maybe someone's spoofing it. They have bots. There's gonna be plenty of fucking bots too. They're gonna like have
yeah,
do I
interactions. They're gonna
yeah,
cause interactions, and it's gonna feel real, and even scarier, they're figuring out a
social
way, and I
engineering, man. Think of it.
I
Think of
think
that.
they've already done it, is that they're gonna be able to scan you and put you physically in there.
Hmm.
So it's not going to be looking at an avatar anymore. It's going to be looking like we look at somebody in real life. And they're getting so good at it that you're going to really feel that that person is in front of you, because it's no longer an avatar.
Yeah,
It is, they said that they can do such a good scan. They can get down to your pores, and then they
really.
can replicate it, and that is your avatar, but it's actually you.
Do you think like going back to like something like China, right? Where they already have technology like that, face recognition everywhere. Everyone has the social credit score system. Now, what if who's to say that the government, our US government, we already know that they do not give a shit about privacy. They'll we know that probably Japan, every other country too. They they'll scan, they filter all network. I was talking to my buddy about this too because he had the satellite phone, and in some countries it's not allowed because it's a direct connection to a private satellite, and it doesn't filter through any government network. So no one can filter it because you're not connecting to their shit. In some countries you can get a lot of trouble for that because they want to know what's going on. What is Facebook going to do with all this information? Like, they know what we look like in the metaverse. They know what we look like because that's what we already do. We're uploading all this information, this content.
It's going to be all focused on making these people buy more stuff.
Exactly.
We already know what you like, and we already know what you watch. We already know all
Because
the stuff.
they're gonna sell the data to these companies and be like, look, so and so is like, we got Bill over here. He's been talking about golf all day. You gotta fucking send him these ads, bro. We'll
They already
send the
do it on
ads.
my
Exactly,
Facebook.
exactly. I know
I
they
mean,
do.
they are, yeah.
I know they do. And it's like, how much farther could it get?
That's a
It's
scary part, man. They
Yeah.
can take it wherever they want, because, I mean, I did see a great place though. If anybody's worried about their information being on certain websites, which
Mm-hmm.
a lot of websites will collect your information. I just learned tonight,
Especially
preparing for
Google.
some of the questions,
Yeah.
is that there's a website where you can go to, in one click, you can find out every single piece of data collected from you from every website. And then what you can do is you can literally one click clear that data, and that won't be stored on their website anymore.
Yeah, it's all the cookies too. All the cookies you always accept. If you don't get rid of those, they'll just keep going.
Yeah.
Those cookies in your browser, man, definitely they're convenient to have sometimes, but you definitely want to clear them out and do a refresh. And Josh mentioned too, like some of these systems can be used for good, like preventing outbreaks using Google Trends, like finding information that's like, all right, like what's going on. We could pick up data. We use it to pick up terrorists, really violent people who might be planning to do something horrible, like
Yep.
the shootings and stuff. If we can stop that with all the back end systems, great, But
I mean, they've been doing data collection
yeah,
for way before Facebook
yeah,
was ever,
no, yeah. I mean,
you know,
NSA's been
it just,
notorious.
yeah. And they just, Facebook had more people than ever that they could just do it in such a way where, obviously the numbers are bigger and the more data collected, the more accurate it is. So it's,
There's a
um,
good interview with Snowden that Joe Rogan did not too long ago, and Snowden was just kind of talking about, he's the big whistleblower who he's in Russia now, and he's just talking about how it is today, and it's just like, yeah, like what we were doing is peanuts compared to like what's available now. Like with Facebook, all the apps on your phone, they're all interconnected. Now, I've noticed that
the
on my,
greatest meme. Did you see that meme
yeah,
where it was like the government is asking for everybody to update their facial recognition? Facebook's like, I got you. We'll put out the 10-year challenge.
yeah, right, exactly.
Everybody's doing it,
Of course,
you
everyone's
know?
doing it. I'm not
And
doing.
now it's like, now they have a picture from you 10 years ago and a picture of you today.
Let's see how fat they get in this 10 years.
Yeah. Some people look better. I'm like,
I
man,
know
good
some
for you.
people do. Yeah,
I definitely got fatter.
I mean,
I didn't do my 10-year challenge. I was like, oh no,
my 10-year
that's
challenge. I was fucking 16, and I was like a pothead. So I'm like, I don't want to share these pictures, but
nobody's gonna see this.
yeah. I mean,
Shit, I
they're
was
on my
20.
Facebook if you dig deep enough. But I mean,
Yeah,
I leave them
scroll
there.
back far enough.
I leave them there just because I keep everything private, so no one.
If you're wrapping it up, I want anybody who's interested in NFTs or interested in crypto, the number one thing is before you put any money into it, do your own research. And I am not in any way telling you to put your money into crypto or NFTs. But if that's something that interests you, one of the best ones that I'm following right now is a guy who said the first 6 months of him being in crypto, he never actually bought it.
Mm,
Or sorry, NFTs and NFTs. He never actually bought it. But what he did is he went on there and he looked and he said, okay, this is something that I'd be interested in. If I bought here, he would track it and see how it did. And after 6 months, then he finally bought his first NFT.
okay,
So,
so like
and he is super successful now. So take your time. Don't rush into it. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
I think I
Um,
didn't ask you this question. I'll leave you with this last question, but
okay.
from you've given a lot of good advice, but what would you say your like well, if you don't want to get into it, it's fine. But what would you say your personal experience is with with trading? Like, have you been
Yeah.
successful?
Oh, I mean, here's the thing, right? And I would gladly get into this. Here's the thing. I have done this now for just under 3 weeks,
Okay.
right? Just under 3 weeks. And so I got hooked right off the beginning and I got lucky, right? I bought in and I made a quick $600 in 5 days, right? And I was like, wow, that was cool, you know? And so I did it again,
Mm-hmm.
right? Next week, I got lucky again. I did the exact thing that I told people not to. I listened to one of my buddies who has been researching it for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So it was actually good that I listened to him. I listened to one of my buddies. I bought in. I made $1,800 in 6 hours.
Wow.
And then I flipped it again for another smaller one, and I made another 400. So first week, $600. Second week, $2,200. In a matter of 2 weeks, I made $2,800. And I turned around and I started reinvesting it and building it up more. And then I got it to a point right now where if I sold everything, probably be around 15,000. If I sold it now, there's projects I'm holding, projects I'm still going to be, going for that whitelist or minting.
No. So you've been pretty successful
in a short amount of time, right? And I did it the way that you shouldn't. I took other people's opinion and I didn't research it. So now that I got lucky, now I've taken a step back and said, let me go learn about this. So really the last 5 days, I've only dealt with one project. And it was a whitelist mint that I'm interested in. And it was one that is attached to a video game and it's an NFT. Like, so for me, it kind of fits both of my, hobbies right now.
Yeah.
And so like that one was one that I had already kind of looked into and knew that I was going to continue. But now, right, I've taken a step back and I've done more research, not only on NFTs and crypto, but the people that are the influencers behind it, because that is more important. The artist, the influencers, the people that are involved with these big projects, the names of these people keep coming up over and over again.
Right.
Each thing I'm looking at. And if you look at the ones that are most successful, they all in some way were tied together at one point. And not only that, but they're still working together and they're still keeping their communities coming together, which is building more of a following for all of them and making more interest into NFTs and making people that hold them or trade them or sell them, making them more successful. So it's just, you have to find the right people. So
Definitely.
I know I talked a lot, but just for that simple question.
No, it's fine. It's a good closing statement to kind of just wrap your head around. All right. Well, thank you. Awesome. I really appreciate that. You're very, calculated when it comes to these kind of things. So appreciate coming to the show and look forward to playing or maybe talking with you again.
Yeah, that sounds good. Hey, I'll still play some games, but I just might not stream them, So
okay.
Thanks for inviting me and having me on. And it's always great to catch up. I'm glad we got to shoot our shit a little bit.
Yeah, dude, for sure.
Reminisce about old times. It's great, man. So thank you. Appreciate it. And all your viewers out there, Ohms. Yeah. I'll see you next time, maybe. So
I think this will be good for the podcast. So everyone who's been listening, thank you for tuning in. If you're watching this on YouTube, give it a like, comment if you have any information you want to share, or you can Twitter me at thelonesalesman if you had any questions about what we talked about, and we'll leave it off there. So have a good one. See ya.